Here are some reminders from me to you before you start writing. Number one, you will hear me say this over and over again, but it's really important and a lot of people still don't do it. You need to check the guidelines for the LOM. This could be questions or length, especially length. Most consortiums will have a maximum on the number of words or characters you are allowed to use. Please do not exceed them or try to sneak in a few 50 words or 100 words. Do not give the excuse, I couldn't cut anything, everything was important, so I'm just going to submit 600 even though I know the limit is 500, and I'm just going to hope the consortium doesn't notice. Don't jeopardize your application and do this. The cap is there to maintain fairness across all applications. If you exceed that, you're likely going to be rejected automatically, or the selection committee will stop reading at a certain point. Number two, you also need to double check for any supplementary questions or essays. Some programs may say, okay, we want a letter of motivation, but we also want you to fill out this writing prompt or this essay question. Every cycle, there are people who submit the LOM and all of their other documents correctly, but because they were rushing and unorganized, they did not realize there were supplementary questions or essays. That's an automatic rejection. For each Erasmus Mundus program, I really recommend that you go through the website thoroughly. All of the pages. This includes alumni bios, news about the organization or the institution, current projects or initiatives that the program has worked on or is working on. You need to be spending at least a few hours on the website, as well as the external links. If you want to have a strong application, you cannot go through the website in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If you only look at the admissions requirements, it's like you're only looking at 5% of the entire picture. I don't want that for you. Take some time to go through every single webpage. I know it's going to be a lot. You don't have to do it all at once, but you really should be doing that before you start drafting. If you have already started drafting your LOM, that's fine. It's not too late. Still go through the website piece by piece. I'm going to present 5 different models or styles of how you can structure your letter of motivation. The most important thing is to first consult the program's requirements and see if they have a specific format they need from you. They may also have prompts you must address. If they have given little or no guidelines, you may want to consider one of the 5 structures I'm going to show. Choose the one you feel the most comfortable with. If you don't like any of them, that's also fine as well. You might think, yeah, these are okay, but I have my own method that I like more. That's perfectly fine. Everyone has their own approach, and it doesn't mean that just because you don't use one of these 5 structures that you're automatically going to be rejected. No, you can go with whatever you prefer, and many Erasmus Mundus scholars have done that, and they will continue to do that. These are just my ways of getting the wheels turning in your brain and giving you some inspiration, because a lot of students and applicants will say, I'm completely lost. I don't know anything. I need some type of structure or format. Let's start with structure number 1. I call it the traditional academic structure. This one I would say is more formal and is a widely accepted format for a motivation letter. It follows a logical and professional flow that emphasizes your academic background and professional alignment with the program. You'll begin with a clear and professional introduction. Here's where you state your motivation for applying and how the program aligns with your academic and professional goals. Then in the second part, you will highlight your academic background. Here you might mention specific courses, projects, or research experiences that have prepared you for the program. Then you will connect your professional and extracurricular experiences, focusing on transferable skills like leadership, communication, and adaptability. Then you'll explain why this specific Erasmus Mundus program is the ideal fit for you. You might want to mention mobility options, the curriculum, or faculty. And finally, you'll conclude by tying everything together with your future goals. Again, outlining how the program will help you achieve them. This format is effective because it's structured, it's clear, it's professional, and I would say it's ideal for applicants with a strong academic and professional background. The flow you can change as well. I want to stress that these structures can be tailored and customized according to your profile and your needs. If you want to incorporate the goals at the beginning of your LOM, that's okay too. It's really just meant to give you some guidance and to help you organize your thoughts. Now, let's look at number 2. I call it the storytelling or personal narrative structure. This format is great if you want to create a more engaging or personal tone that stands out. This structure may go better with certain programs than other programs, depending on the subject area and the curriculum. One example would be Choreo Mundus, and that's the Master in Dance Knowledge, Practice, and Heritage, because it is a more like artistic and creative degree. It makes sense, and I would imagine that the selection committee would be more open to a personal narrative or a more creative LOM. You'll open with a compelling personal story or anecdote that reflects your interest in this field. If you decide to go with the structure, I really recommend that you watch my video that I'm going to link right here about introductions and how to package them correctly. This intro should be short but meaningful and really help the reader understand your motivation on a deeper level. And then after you establish the connection, you will describe how your academic background and your life experiences, for example, have shaped your passion for the subject. Then you'll transition into why this Erasmus Mundus program is right for you and Erasmus Mundus in general. Again, focusing on the unique structure, the mobility, and the learning opportunities. Finally, you will link all of that to your future goals, explaining how the program will equip you to make an impact in your field. This format, I would say, is particularly effective if you have a personal story or journey or experience that connects well with your academic and your professional goals. But be careful of dumping in a lot of personal challenges and stories just to gain sympathy or empathy from the selection committee. Structure number 3 is what I call the problem solution structure. So it is a strategic format that works well if you want to highlight how your participation in Erasmus Mundus will help address a specific challenge. You'll start by introducing a global or local problem that motivates you, maybe something connected to your field of study. This should be framed as a compelling issue that Erasmus Mundus and this specific program will help you make contributions in. You're not going to solve the entire issue by yourself, and that's okay. But you want to show that this investment in you as a student and as an applicant will have ripple effects in certain geographical areas, in certain communities, in certain regions, in certain aspects of work, etc. Next, you'll explain how your academic and professional experience have given you insights into this problem. If you're presenting a local or global problem or challenge, you should be giving some evidence. But don't, again, use 400 words to explain what the problem is. That's not the point of this structure. Then, after you write about those insights, you present Erasmus Mundus as the solution. You might highlight the program's courses or internship opportunities or research fellowships or the global network, and you show that these are tools that will help you tackle this challenge that you just talked about. And then finally, you conclude by how you plan to apply your knowledge after the program to create tangible change. The selection committees really like to know what you are going to do after you graduate. It doesn't have to be like in 10 or 20 years, but They do want to know you have a general idea of the direction you want to go in. This format, I would say, is impactful because it shows that you're not only motivated, but you're also solution oriented, meaning you're ready to make a difference. A lot of applicants are just going to write about problems in their communities or regions or countries, but they don't really show that they are ready to make a difference or that they've even thought about what kind of change could be made. It almost just becomes like a summary of an issue and not a letter of motivation. Number 4 is what I call the competency-based structure. I would say it's ideal if you want to emphasize your skill set and how it aligns with the program. You'll open with a clear section about why you're applying and how your background makes you a strong candidate. Then you'll organize the letter motivation around 3 key competencies or 3 key areas. Those would be like academic skills as number 1, then your professional experience and expertise and attributes, number 2, and then your personal strengths. Then for each competency, you are providing a concrete example or examples to demonstrate that ability. Then you'll explain how the Erasmus Mundus program will enhance these competencies, areas of expertise, and assets. You'll also include that the program will prepare you well for your future career and your professional development. And then finally, you will close by describing how you plan to apply these skills after graduation. Like I said before, they really want to know your plans post-graduation because the programs go by really fast. I know it feels like, oh, 2 years is a long time, but believe me, it goes fast. And you want to show that you have put thought and intention into where you want to end up. To me, this format is particularly effective if you have diverse experiences or if you want to present a well-rounded profile. Finally, here's number 5. This is what I call the chronological growth structure. This format tells the story of your academic and professional journey in more of a clear and time-based order. So you'll begin with how your initial interest in the field shaped. This could be through a personal experience, it could be through a research assistant position during your undergraduate studies, something like that. Next, you'll describe how your academic and professional path evolved. So you want to highlight key milestones, challenges, and turning points. Don't spend, however, 60 or 70% of the space highlighting these past milestones. You should highlight a few and important moments and turning points that are related to the program and the field. Don't summarize your entire life in 200 words. Then you will explain how Erasmus Mundus is the next logical step in your growth, which shows that you are prepared for the program's challenges and opportunities. And finally, you'll conclude with your future goals, specifically outlining how the program will help you reach the next stage of your professional journey. I would say this format is effective because it creates a natural and logical flow, and it demonstrates that the program fits into your broader career path. Like you're showing the progression of your journey, and after you've accomplished these things and had these past experiences, this is why Erasmus Mundus makes sense for me at this point. Each of these structures has its own strengths. The key is to choose the one that best fits your background and motivation. You might think, I like number 1, 3, and 4. You could start drafting and seeing how that feels. And then through that, you might think, actually, I want number 3 instead. That's okay. Basically, whether you go with a more formal academic approach or a personal narrative or a problem-solving angle, just make sure your letter is clear, focused, and authentic.